So I have a letter here from Mr. Phil Benson requesting time to Minnesota Break the Bonds campaign to address the board, not canvass the board, and the board's agreeable with the understanding that you have 3 speakers, each will take, you said here, approximately 2 to 4 minutes apiece.
As you are well aware, the Minnesota Break the Bonds campaign is a statewide campaign to see that the state of Minnesota ends its investments of the Public Employee Pension Fund in Israeli bonds. Is neither Jewish nor human. We are calling on you today to heed the demands of Minnesotans, to be courageous and do what is politically inconvenient but morally necessary.
I actually go to the U. I'm a sophomore. I'm majoring in global studies and anthropology. And I'm part of a group on campus called Students for Justice in Palestine. I'm the representative, actually, which is why I get to be here with you guys. From a country that can massacre over 2,000 Palestinians, injure over 10,000.
If you're Palestinian, Christian, or Muslim, you're immediately given a separate ID. On your IDs, it tells the religion you are. There's separate roads for Jews only and separate roads for Christians and Muslims. And then the media here just stays silent. I mean, that's no different than when the people stayed silent to what the KKK and the other people did to the African Americans, or even before that, when they slaughtered the Native Americans.
I mean, we have a different view. I have a different view than yours in terms of what's going on in the Middle East and what is appropriate role for the State Board of Investment to make about investments that were made, I think it was 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, in the Israeli bonds. I respect your right to your own views, and we have a right to ours, and so we're just at a point of disagreement. As far as I'm concerned, the case is closed in terms of our decision.
June 30th of next year will be the return date of the current.
Well, then I'd say that's an appropriate time for the board. The board will have to reconsider and decide whether to hold on to the same bonds. The bonds terminated, you have to purchase new ones. What's the procedure?
The process is they would mature, and then we have the option to reinvest.
They have purchased new bonds.
Yes.
June 30th next year. So the June meeting of the board, 2015, would be the time for the September meeting.
The previous meeting, probably the March meeting.
Okay. So March 2015 will be a meeting which will have this on the agenda, and I would think that's the appropriate time to raise the questions that you're raising.
Well, first of all, the turnout was wonderful. The people who are on the side of human rights and justice gave a huge presence there, and it was really great to see that.
We've been at this for several years. Today we heard actually a glimmer of light. It appears that the Israel bonds are up for renewal in the spring, and the meeting before that is in March. Before that, the board has to issue its annual report. That annual report will probably be out in January, February. That will indicate whether they have recategorized Israel as a Group 3 country, which is the worst human rights offender, which is what our emphasis has been over the course of the last year. If, in fact, they categorize Israel as a Group 3 worst human rights offender country, then they practically will have no reason but to divest.
I'm really happy to be here, honestly. I grew up, I'm Palestinian, my family's Palestinian. Whenever we get together and rally for the Palestinian cause, I tend to be surrounded by Palestinians and other Arabs, so this is kind of nice because I get reminded that the community that kind of has my back and that I have their back is a bit bigger than just people who look like me, which is always wonderful. So thank you very much for being here.
We just got to keep doing what we're doing. We got to keep waking people up. Don't forget, here in this country, everybody wasn't against slavery and racism. It took decades for people to finally say enough's enough.
We just saw atrocities on a massive scale committed by Israel against Palestinian civilians. We watched as Israel destroyed 17,000 homes, more than 360 factories, and the water and sewage treatment systems. Israel killed 2,200 people and injured tens of thousands. The vast majority of the casualties were civilian. And I am so outraged that Governor Dayton gave such a shameful speech on July 24th, saying that he stands with Israel.
Said, I want you to know that when I got out of high school, I was going to move to Israel and join the IDF. And if you know me now, that's an arc. So it's possible.